Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Thank you very much. How are you? Nice to see you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, pendant presse, Zoolander.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, what took you so long? We missed you. I've been bad. What have you been up to for all these years without putting it forward to us?
We just wanted to make sure we were as old as humanly possible before we could make the movie again. No, I mean, it was a lot. It was. It's you know, I never thought we were going to make a sequel, actually, just because when the movie first came out, we would have made a sequel like a year after the movie came out if anybody had wanted it, but nobody actually went to the movie when it first came out. I mean, it was over the years that this sort of audience has grown for it, and over the years we thought about doing a sequel, and we just couldn't figure out really the right story, and then figuring out how to make it work with everybody coming together, and you know, it eventually came to a head. It was, I think, over the last few years, I felt more of a feeling of people who know the movie, strangely, than after it first, you know, the first few years after it came out. So somehow it's remained in the consciousness for a certain group of people, and so we really wanted to make it for them.
Alors c'est vrai que nous voulions vous faire ce film sur notre sûr que nous soyons déjà assez vieux pour faire ce film.
Oh, you have to translate everything? Oh, I'm sorry. I would have given a much shorter answer. Okay.
Cool. En fait, au départ, je ne pensais pas du tout qu'on ferait une suite. Si on avait imaginé une suite, eh bien, on l'aurait probablement fait un an après la sortie du film. Mais comme vous le savez, trop peu de gens ont vu ce film, donc finalement, à l'époque, on ne l'a pas fait. Puis ce film, au cours des ans, a trouvé son vrai public. Et à travers les années, finalement, on a trouvé un scénario qui marchait, on a trouvé un moment pour se retrouver ensemble. Et finalement, voilà, le film a pris vie parce que, étrangement, eh bien, le public de ce film a grandi et c'est devenu un film culte. Et donc, en ce moment, c'était le bon moment pour le faire. Alors, question.
Qu'est-ce qui est le plus compliqué sur un tournage pareil? Est-ce que c'est de garder son sérieux ou de faire pareil à la Winto?
What's the most complex thing on this shoot? I mean, was it to keep serious faces while doing it, or actually have a winter talk?
It was. What was the first part of the question? The most what? Complex thing. It wasn't a very complex shoot. It's very simple characters. Très simplement.
Yeah.
Simplement? Yeah, that's beautiful. The characters are simple. So we just tried to have as much fun as possible, and it was fun to get the people from the fashion world in the movie, because the first time around we didn't have any of the real fashion world except for the people we were able to steal on the red carpet for the VH1 Fashion Awards, which is where all those interviews at the beginning of the movie come from in the first one. But this time around, since the fashion world was aware of the movie, we were able to have people like Anna, who was a great real partner in getting the film made, really. And I think that added another level of legitimacy to the world we were creating, the ridiculous world.
Some of the wardrobe could be pretty complicated, actually. We could have a hot day, and you see your wardrobe for the day could be a jacket or something. So that was probably the most challenging thing.
All right. Alors, même dire qu'en fait, c'était pas très complexe, que les personnages sont finalement assez simples. Alors, bien sûr, on a tenté de s'amuser pendant le tournage, mais surtout, ce qui était le plus drôle, c'est de finalement faire venir en caméo tous ces personnages du monde de la mode. C'est ce qui n'était pas le cas pour le premier Zoolander, où en fait, on a surtout volé les interviews qui étaient prises sur le tapis rouge des VH1 Fashion Awards. Alors qu'ici, évidemment, le monde de la mode avait finalement s'était amusé avec le premier film à le voir. Et donc cette fois-ci, Anna, vraiment Wintour, a été une vraie partenaire. Et je crois que sa présence, évidemment, a donné une toute autre dimension à Zoolander 2. Et puis, Owen de rajouter, s'il y avait quand même un truc super compliqué, selon la chaleur, il fallait peut-être parfois les vêtements qu'on portait, porter des vestes, etc. C'était la chose la plus complexe. Justin, I mean, you're listening to your partners in crime too, but you actually co-wrote with Ben that story. How did you two work together?
We got together. I think it was right after after we'd done Tropic Thunder. I threw my hat in the ring and was like, if you ever want to do Zoolander 2, I would love to
participate. So was it like a year and a half later or so, we got together and sort of started working on an outline of what we thought, you know, we wanted to sort of go international with it. And for about a month, we sort of sat and goofed around and cracked jokes. And when we'd find something we liked, we just would start writing it. And that was how it came together.
You guys had the idea from the beginning before that, or that seems like that?
Yeah, Stoller had done
a
great draft at the beginning, which basically sort of picked up where we left off.
Right.
You'll see when you see the movie. And then sort of did a fast forward in time. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Alors voilà, Justin, évidemment, c'est après.
Can I say something about how challenging the shoot was again?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard a lot of stories about how like The Revenant was a challenging shoot because they're like out in the elements and everything. For us, this was a very challenging shoot because Owen and I were in Rome playing models and we couldn't eat pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it, yeah, that's a challenge. Alors Justin disait évidemment que c'était après une croquis, quand ils ont travaillé ensemble, ils dit bon bah si tu es prêt, tiens, j'ai envie de faire Zoolander 2, eh bien voilà, j'ai envie de participer à cette aventure. Et 1 an et demi à peu près après, ils ont commencé à écrire une ébauche. Et déjà, dès le départ, ils voulaient un scénario beaucoup plus international, qui se passerait donc ailleurs qu'aux États-Unis. Et puis ils ont commencé à échanger comme ça, des blagues, des idées d'histoire, et à commencer à l'écrire. Et Owen, qui fait un merveilleux journaliste aujourd'hui, dit mais est-ce que Justin, dès le départ, vous aviez cette idée et Justin dit oui, dès le départ, on avait décidé de vraiment reprendre la trame juste au moment où Zoolander, le premier, s'arrête, et ensuite faire un vrai fast-forward. Et Ben de rajouter, au fait, on parlait tout à l'heure des défis du tournage, on dit que The Revenant, c'était des conditions extrêmes. Eh bien, nous aussi, c'était assez extrême pour Owen et moi, parce qu'imaginez un tournage en Italie, et comme on joue les top modèles, pasta interdite. Alors, question. Ici.
En parlant justement d'entraînement extrême, j'avais une question pour Will Ferrell. Mais combien de temps d'entraînement, voire 2 mois, pour pouvoir faire un aussi parfait café avec ses pieds?
The answer is
Oui. All right. So we're talking training, extreme training here, Will. And we want to know how many months of training did it take you to actually have your coffee with your feet?
You'll have to excuse me because I'm feeling very nostalgic in this ballroom. This is where I married my first wife, Catherine. And we didn't have enough money for the big ballroom, so we were in this little one. And the marriage only lasted a couple weeks, but anyway, it was a great party and it's good to be back. What was the question?
Feet and coffee.
Oh,
How
the
do they
feet.
match together?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think Ben, he called me a year and a half before the filming of the movie and said, are you able to pick things up with your feet at all? I know it's an odd question, but we've got this idea where Mugatu is able to, you know, because he spent all this time in prison, and he's not allowed to use his hands or arms, can use his feet. And so, yeah, I just worked with a team of trainers.
We didn't even have a script at that point. We just had the
Right.
idea, and we thought, let's get Will working on this because he likes to have the prep time.
Alors voilà. Donc, extrait, alors voilà, excusez-moi, moment d'émotion pour Will Ferrell qui se rappelle avec nostalgie que son mariage qui était à Catherine a lieu ici. Ils n'avaient pas assez d'argent pour une pièce plus grande. Donc voilà, moment de nostalgie. Mais en fait, voilà, Ben m'a appelé à peu près 1 an et demi avant le tournage en me posant une question certes étrange. Will, peux-tu te débrouiller avec tes pieds pour à peu près faire n'importe quoi? L'idée étant que, c'était pas évidemment écrit complètement dans le script, que, étant donné qu'il était en prison depuis quelques années et qu'il ne pouvait utiliser ni ses mains, ni en réalité, mais il fallait bien qu'il se débrouille avec ça. Et voilà, donc Ben de rajouter, au départ c'était juste une idée, mais je savais qu'il fallait lui donner du temps d'entraînement pour qu'il y arrive. Autre question.
Bonjour, c'est une question pour Ben et Justin. Le film commence par le meurtre atroce de Justin Bieber. Pourquoi lui? Et est-ce que c'est jouissif de l'écrire de balles?
Well, it's a question for both of you, Ben and Owen. I mean, the film starts with Bieber's getting killed. Was it particularly a sort of pleasure trip to have him killed, first seconds almost, and have so many bullets going through his body?
Apparently for you, it was. I feel like the Bieber killing is a Rorschach test for our audiences. You know, it's people react in different ways. It's interesting to see how the audience takes it.
We also wrote it about 5 years ago or something, so he was much, much younger when, so it was a much younger Bieber dying at one point. Just thought that it was interesting.
Alors voilà, c'est vrai, donc visiblement vous, en tout cas, vous avez trouvé ça jouissif. C'est un peu votre texte, vous savez, avec la feuille, on fait les tâches, voilà, pour le public, car chacun finalement réagit devant cela à sa manière. Et Justin de rajouter, en fait, on l'a écrit à peu près il y a 5 ans, lorsque Justin était bien, bien plus jeune, et donc c'était encore plus drôle, nous dit-il. Alors, question.
Hi, hello. Ellie from Brussels. I have a question for all of you. So Zoolander, the first, became a kind of a cult movie with people quoting a lot of scenes from, including myself, like quoting a lot of the movies. I wanted to know for you, which are the films that are Zoolander for you, like films that made you laugh when you were young and that you can quote all the time. You have references and private jokes. So it's a question for everyone.
Voilà, question pour chacun, des citations, des répliques cultes de films qui, eux, les ont marqués.
No, it's a good question. Yeah.
You can take it.
Any quotes?
Well, I mean, yeah, no.
Oh, then movies.
You know that there's some of those Albert Brooks movies, Modern Romance, Lost in America, are ones that I thought were really funny and would quote sometimes. And then stuff like Stripes, Animal House. Tootsie.
For me, it was a Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Growing up, because that came out when I was, I think I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah,
and
that's one.
I memorized Bill Murray's, all of his monologues.
Scarface.
What about you, Justin?
The Jerk, I think, was one of my favorite films. Caddyshack also.
Those aren't azaleas.
Azalea?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought The Jerk was,
Yeah.
learn a lot from that.
Alors,
Yeah.
What was that called in France? Le Jerk?
Le Jerk.
Le jeu.
Le Jerk?
Le Jerk.
No?
Jerk.
Mhm.
L'imbécile?
Ça peut être le non,
Crétin.
la traduction, c'est
Crétin.
le crétin, mais je suis pas sûre que c'était traduit par le crétin. Mais en tout cas, les références, Albert Brooks pour Owen, I mean Modern Romance, Lost in America, Stripes, Animal House, pour Ben, Caddyshack, bien sûr, qu'il a regardé à peu près quand il avait 15 ans, et il a appris tous les monologues de Bill Murray, Will, Scarface, et Justin, The Jerk, et Caddyshack aussi. Autre question. Oui, le micro, oui.
Hi, I'm Jan from Belgium. A question for Mr. Stiller. Was it hard to convince Sting to accept the role in this movie?
It was very important for us to get Sting to be in the film because it was when we wrote the draft. That was one of the first ideas we had, and it was a big plot point, which I hope won't be given away too much in whatever you write. But Sting was a key part. So he was the first person I called when we started to even think about making the movie, and luckily he was very nice, and he had seen the first movie,
one.
yeah, and so I sent him the script, and he called me back a day later, and he said he was in, and that was actually one of the reasons I wanted to go forward with the movie. We would have had to really rethink that.
I know.
Yeah.
Alors voilà, c'est vrai que la question donc, est-ce que ça a été difficile de convaincre Sting, et même de dire que c'était en fait très important pour nous de le convaincre parce que dès la première vraiment ébauche du scénario, il était un rôle très important par rapport à la trame narrative. Donc il fallait le convaincre et il a été en fait la première personne que j'ai appelée lorsque on a décidé de faire le film et je lui ai envoyé le scénario, il l'a lu et dès le lendemain il m'a dit voilà j'y suis, j'en fais partie et c'était une des raisons vraiment essentielles, sinon il aurait vraiment fallu réécrire des choses, donc il a accepté.
On voit tous complices tout en travaillant entre vous. Je me demandais quel était le moment le plus drôle pour vous, l'écriture ou la mise en scène.
Well, I mean, obviously we see that you're very close-knit camaraderie between all of you. What was the funniest, so to speak? Was it the writing process or the directing process?
Is that for me? I think the directing for me is much more fun / painful. And because it's the most fun, but it's also the most stressful because you have a certain amount of time to shoot the movie. So you're trying to figure out how to have the most fun in the shortest amount of time. So that's probably, for me though, that part of it. I mean,
I like the writing part's not fun sometimes, but the sitting around making jokes when everything's on the table is, I think, the funnest part, and just sitting around making each other laugh and coming up with bits and just pulling ideas and then trying to jam them in the script. It gets more
that period of time when anything is possible.
Yeah,
it all seems
tons
incredibly
of money
funny.
to make the movie, and we're going around the world.
Get to the editing room.
The editing room.
Let's lose that.
Alors, pour Ben, en fait, la réalisation, on l'a compris, c'est à la fois le moment le plus drôle, mais aussi le plus pénible, parce que, évidemment, que c'est très drôle, mais en même temps, il y a tout le stress, parce que, évidemment, il faut donner le maximum en un minimum de temps, et donc on essayait vraiment, justement, de garder ça une expérience drôle, et c'est, en fait, Justin, de rajouter, c'est vrai que l'écriture n'est pas toujours le moment le plus drôle, mais lorsqu'on est là, que le scénario est fini, qu'on peut un peu s'asseoir, parler, échanger des idées, improviser, et Ben de rajouter, c'est au moment où tout est encore ouvert et possible. Alors là, c'est très agréable. Et Owen de rajouter, bon, enfin, jusqu'à ce qu'on arrive à la table de montage. Voilà. Autre question. Oui, ici.
La question est très simple, je vais la faire en français, ce sera plus rapide. On avait beaucoup de célébrités dans le film, lesquelles vous avez pris au montage, parce qu'on est déçus, on n'a pas vu Kanye West, on n'a pas vu Macaulay Culkin comme c'était présenté.
All right. Alors, well, we see obviously lots of celebrities in your movie, but were there like celebrities that were announced and we didn't see what happened to them? Are they in the cutting floor? Kanye West, like Culkin, that at one point was supposed to be in the movie? So did you cut many cameos? No.
You've been reading the internet, haven't you?
I didn't even
well,
know
like
that.
you, we do go on the internet.
Always the best source of information.
Yeah.
On se moque un peu, mais meilleures sources d'informations, bien sur Internet.
I mean, there were definitely people that, not those people though, that we wanted to be in the film. That you have these sort of idea. Oh, it would be great to. I wanted to get Secretary of State Colin Powell into Hansel's orgy. Oh, you do speak English. Okay. Yeah. It just haven't been funny. Okay. I mean, there are things literally like you're in the writing room. You go, oh, that'd be so funny. Like let's do that. And they're like, yeah, why not? Come on, let's go for that. And it gets to the point where I have to pick up the phone. Like, okay, Ben, we got a name for a contact. And that's when you realize I can't even do this. But there were some that we went for that didn't pan out. But I also was really happy because once you get the people you get in the movie, it's hard to think of it without those people. And I was really happy the people we got.
Alors voilà, c'est vrai que il y a eu certaines célébrités qu'on voulait, dans un moment on s'est dit pourquoi pas, par exemple Colin Powell dans le rôle de Orgy, mais à un moment on s'est dit bon c'est pas possible parce qu'à un moment c'est moi qui dois prendre le téléphone et appeler ces gens-là, donc il y avait vraiment des choses qu'on ne pouvait pas faire. Mais c'est vrai qu'on est très heureux de tous les gens qui ont accepté de participer à l'aventure, et en fait quand on a regardé le film fini nous-mêmes, on s'est dit de toute façon c'était ceux-là et personne d'autre. Question.
Bonjour, il y a plusieurs références à des films comme Star Wars et une aussi qui pourrait faire penser à Dodgeball. Est-ce que c'est un message caché ou quelque chose?
Well, there are lots of movie references in the movie. I mean, like Star Wars or even Dodgeball. I mean, is it like a hint at something to come, or was there a certain thinking behind it?
A dodgeball reference?
Yeah.
Is there?
Il y en a une?
Really?
When you're throwing thing, Owen is throwing thing on the plate.
Oh.
I
guess that's just
thinking that.
Unoriginality, I guess. Well, I totally forgot about that. Uh-oh, maybe the producers of Dodgeball are going to sue us. Oh, wait a minute. That's literally the first time I thought about that. Oh, my God. But, I mean, no, like there's some references, definitely, like the Star Wars thing, but, it's all kind of, when you're writing the movie, it's kind of just an amalgam of things that you think are funny or that might be funny in the context of the movie.
Oui, donc oui, il y a des références, dont celle de Star Wars, mais c'était en fait simplement des références qui étaient justes, étaient drôles par rapport évidemment au contexte du film lui-même. Question. Oui.
S'il y avait un Zoolander 3 et qu'il soit tourné à Paris, est-ce qu'il y aurait des personnalités françaises que vous aimeriez mettre dans votre film?
Well, if there were a Zoolander 3 and if it were shot in Paris, would there be like French stars, personalities that you would love to see in Zoolander 3?
Yeah. Was that ever a consideration, Paris, as a place?
It's not really a big fashion town.
Yeah.
Voilà, parce qu'à un moment, on a
That's what
pensé
you
à
told me
Paris.
when I
They're
was
trying to
really
improve that, though.
lobbing it.
Yeah, they're trying to get into the fashion
Yeah.
business. You guys should get into the fashion thing.
Yeah.
Don't fight it so much.
Yeah.
You know.
Good
Voilà,
at it.
donc vous l'avez compris. Donc Paris, est-ce qu'on a vraiment Joe comme ça, évidemment, est-ce que Paris, est-ce qu'on y a pensé? Non, vraiment, c'est pas vraiment une ville.
By the way, that's another, yeah.
Spinal Tap?
Spinal Tap is
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, yeah,
like
Spinal
another
Tap.
movie
Yeah.
that was a big
Spinal
one,
Tap.
big one.
College
Oh,
town.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Ouais.
Not as good. Yeah.
Actually, who got the idea of launching the film in Paris at the Valentino show?
That was a
Parce que
great
c'est à Paris
idea.
quand même que le film a été annoncé.
Yeah, that was just, we wanted to figure out a way to somehow announce the movie without announcing it. And, honestly, like, Will, you were so creative when you announced Anchorman 2. I remember, right? You went on Conan, I
Right,
think, and
right.
played a flute
Yep,
solo.
yep.
Right? That was incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that had been done. And so we had to figure out, a different way of trying to announce it that we thought could be fun. And we decided to, this could be a really cool thing, but we didn't think that the Valentino people would say yes. We thought we'd end up like a Men's Warehouse or Target in America. Target, as we call it in America.
Oui. Alors voilà, c'est vrai que c'est à Paris qu'a été annoncé le tournage. Et ben, il disait qu'en fait, il voulait annoncer Zoolander 2 sans vraiment l'annoncer. Et c'est un peu ce qu'avait fait Will quand il avait lancé Anchorman 2. Donc ils ont décidé d'avoir un lancement un peu cool et ils pensaient vraiment pas que Valentino allait dire oui et qu'ils allaient finalement se retrouver à l'annoncer dans un Target qui sont une espèce de grande surface très énorme aux États-Unis. Target, as you say. Question.
Oui, David Bowie était dans le premier film. Je voulais savoir si vous aviez eu l'intention de le tourner et quelques mots sur son travail sur le premier film.
Well, obviously, couldn't help but thinking of David Bowie, who was in the first Zoolander.
Yes.
Did you ever think of him for Zoolander 2? And could you tell us a few words about how it was to work with David Bowie in your first one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we thought about it, but it was more of an overall thing for the second movie where we didn't want to try to recreate scenes that we felt were high points in the first movie that we didn't feel like we could top or just do them in a different way or bigger. We didn't want to do that. So it was, I felt, having David Bowie in that scene was such a huge thing for the first movie and wasn't something I wanted to try to do something different with because it just stands on its own. And, but, working, first of all, I can't believe he said yes to being in the movie.
Yeah,
He had
did
no
you
reason.
did you just
He had no
call
reason
him?
to be in our movie because nobody knew who Zoolander was really, and when we were making the first movie, and he just was. He for some reason he thought it was a funny idea, and he came down and he spent the day, and I remember having a great time with him
Yeah.
and feeling sort of a little bit starstruck. It definitely had the feeling on the set that everybody in the room was like, wow, this is so cool, and he was incredibly gracious and exactly as you would imagine or want to imagine him being, I think.
Alors en fait, voilà, c'est vrai que on ne voulait pas, on avait un moment pensé, mais on ne voulait pas évidemment recréer une scène dans le numéro 2 qui soit, enfin, on voulait quelque chose qui soit plus fort. Il était impossible, cette scène était si forte dans le premier que du coup on s'est dit non, ça ne marcherait pas. C'est vraiment quelque chose qui doit rester unique. Et c'est vrai que je ne pouvais pas croire qu'il ait dit oui, parce qu'à l'époque personne ne connaissait Zoolander. Et je me souviens de cette journée qu'il a passée sur le tournage. On a passé un moment merveilleux ensemble. J'avoue que j'avais un peu les yeux qui brillaient, un peu devant quelqu'un que j'admirais. Et il était incroyable, tel qu'on peut se l'imaginer, c'est-à-dire un vrai gentleman. Autre question. Oui.
Hi again. Hey. So with characters like your son and also an Atari Kyle Mooney from SNL, the film brings an interesting contrast between old and new generation, and where you you guys are.
Which are we?
We are like
We're the old. We're the old. We're the old.
Yes, I mean,
Got it, yeah.
it's not his reference
Yes.
to the coffin when you guys are.
Oh, right.
all
Right.
old and
Yeah.
lame.
I didn't even think of that.
And I wanted to know, no, I thought that the film makes that kind of
Yeah.
transition, like, if you-
No, no, that was definitely
And I
yeah.
wanted to know whether in real life something made you feel like a has-been or something that you're out of date, like exactly when you hear young people speak,
Sure.
and you're like, what?
Yeah, we don't know what they say.
And that's
think-
a question for all of you. When do you feel has-been? Not right now, I hope. All right, let's go for it. When do you feel
Start
has-been? Do you ever feel like a has-been?
I guess when we did that Valentino show and just all the sort of, when we walked out for that and all the sort of social media stuff afterwards, and Ben telling me about this thing called Instagram and how many hits we were getting, and you were sort of kind of guided me through all that new technology that I learned about then.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I was your guy.
My Sherpa.
Alors pour Owen, c'est évidemment après le show Valentino, eh bien Ben évidemment a tout de suite posté sur les réseaux sociaux. Et donc Owen disait,
Let me
moi je
send you a
connaissais rien,
link.
il m'a vraiment guidé à Instagram, et c'est avec les likes et tout ça. Donc grâce à lui, j'ai appris un petit peu des choses sur les nouvelles technologies. What about Justin?
I don't feel like I mean, when I have felt like I had, I don't know. It was when we were doing a lot of Donatari stuff. We were all trying to like kind of reach back and be like, we were trying to stay as current as possible on the timeline that we were shooting, not knowing what could happen in a couple months. You know, now Snapchat.
The first draft with Donatari was in 2010.
Yeah,
And
then
so
a lot had changed.
even in 5 years.
Yeah.
C'est vrai qu'en écrivant le scénario, il y a tellement de choses qui se passent rapidement. C'était en 2010. Et donc,
Feedback
tout
well
change
made.
en 5 ans, tout a énormément changé. Donc en écrivant, effectivement, il fallait que je me tienne un peu au courant des nouveautés qui se passaient. What about you, Will?
I was just going to say, I think these guys did such a smart thing with the sequel, with having obviously the huge passage of time between the first one and the second one. It's a really ingenious way to address that, because otherwise the audience would be sitting there if you just picked up as if it was, the next day after the first one. And, you're right. Yeah.
Alors, Owen dit évidemment que ce qui a été évidemment très malin dans cette suite, c'est que malgré ces 10 années qui ont passé, eh bien, il y a une intelligence, on guide le public, vous-même, justement, à être tout de suite dans le bain du deuxième.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Good point. So it never felt it has been? You haven't answered.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely, when I'm around...
I just got nominated for 6 has-beens, though.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I really feel like a has-been because
Yeah.
I didn't get nominated. Yeah, no, I mean, when I watch my daughter and her facility with social media is pretty, comes very naturally to her, and watching her do Snapchat, and Snapchat is very, I feel like that's one that that's like a bridge too far for me, because it's so like you have to hold the thing down, and and whenever you're doing the thing, and you're filming yourself, and but it's a young person's game, Snapchat.
Alors voilà, donc voilà, c'est surtout quand il voit la facilité avec laquelle sa fille se débrouille sur les réseaux sociaux, surtout Snapchat, pour lui c'est too much, ça c'est à manier, difficile à se filmer. C'est à ce moment-là qu'effectivement je me sens un petit peu peut-être dépassée. Question.
Alors
Oui,
j'avais une question
micro.
pour Bestia.
Yes.
Je me demandais si le scénario n'était pas juste un prétexte
Where are you?
pour le dessin de Penelope Cruz.
Where are you?
All right, guys, over there,
Oh.
and this is a very important question,
Okay,
Ben.
okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Was the whole script just the opportunity for you to touch Penelope Cruz's tits? I'm translating.
Too sweet.
Wow. They say the French are out there, but
We
yeah.
are.
Okay. Yeah. It was necessary.
Voilà, c'était
There were quite a few
nécessaire
takes.
pour l'entendement du scénario.
It was a scene.
I just wasn't counting on Javier Bardem being right by the camera.
Voilà, je ne sais pas que Xavier Bardem soit juste à côté de la caméra. Autre question. Et dernière question. Last question.
C'est une question pour Ben et Owen. Ils jouent des hommes qui sont super beaux, mais pour eux, quels sont les hommes les plus beaux du monde? Et pourquoi?
All right. Well, obviously you two play incredibly super attractive guys. But for you, who are the most attractive guys in the world? C'est pas ça.
The most attractive men in the world.
Yeah.
I'd say Will and Justin are pretty good looking.
They're pretty
Wow.
good.
Will and
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Say that.
very much.
I appreciate that.
Merci.
My son's very handsome too.
Ah, et mon fils est plutôt
He
mignon.
has his mom's looks.
Il ressemble à sa mère.
Yeah, just the usual people that people say. Brando, Steve McQueen.
So kind of like
Yeah.
like a Brad Pitt, that kind of
Yeah.
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 Ouais, donc,
Pretty much. Owen's saying like your mainstays,
Yeah.
like a Brad Pitt.
Don't you like that?
Depp.
Is it Olivier Martinez?
Olivier
Yes.
Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's a very handsome man.
All right, donc nous avons
Roger
Brad Pitt d'un
Vadim.
côté, Olivier Martinez.
I'm pretty sporty myself, so a lot of the athletes are really attractive.
Et comme moi j'aime le sport, je trouve que en général, les athlètes et sportifs sont
Yep.
plutôt beaux
Yep.
gosses. Eh bien voilà. Ben, would you like one word just to conclude?
Yes.
Say it. Whatever you want.
Oh.
This is the end, my
Okay.
friend.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you for talking to us, and it's been fun. And Will, any final memories of the wedding?
You know, my father-in-law at that time got what we called in the States overserved. And he took a nasty tumble off that balcony. And I wish I knew what happened to him, but it kind of put a damper on the evening. That's the one bad memory I do have about this room. Otherwise, you guys have added to the wonderful memories that I have of this room. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's an incredible half ballroom. It is.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Alors voilà, vous l'avez compris, dernier souvenir, mon ex-beau-père avait un peu trop bu ce jour-là et il a fait une petite chute un peu brutale. Mais voilà, mais je ne veux pas trop parler de ça pour ne pas vous casser le moral. Mais vous public aujourd'hui présent, eh bien vous avez rendu le souvenir de cette salle et de cette pièce de bal encore plus jolie pour moi. Voilà.
Merci.
à vous tous.
Thank you. Good job. Very good.
Last time was in Madagascar
Yes.
in France,
Yes.
where you came all that.
Right.
So thank you for bringing this
Thank you.
wonderfully crazy movie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.